Welcome everybody to a little Uncle Andrew stream. A little Nate's probably sleeping, and I'm in the studio for probably the next 12 hours. So I'm just I'm gonna play my Tabletop Gameshop simulator. I've obviously been grinding this game a little bit. Got that's a good question. How many hours do I have in this already? 43.8, so we're getting up there. I was gonna say 42, a little off. I'm sure you've seen a lot of bigger names play this beautiful game, and I'll obviously have to alter the description when I get it posted. Just if you find your way towards Tabletop Gameshop Simulator, that's the one. Obviously, this game is still in a pre-alpha build. It's still a 0.12. There's no 0.1 out yet. So it is still an early access game, I suppose you could put it that way. I'm not sure the correct terminology for this. But I'm addicted to this game. This is it's kind of a dream. Be able to just encompass my entire life in the miniature world. So, besides open a bakery, this is close number 2. Run my own miniature shop. I'm a big miniature guy, huge nerd when it comes to that aspect of things. And you know, this game has really provided for me that itch. So, obviously, you know, with 40 some hours in this game, I have a pretty dedicated shop as it goes. You get painting stations, your gaming tables, you know, you can have, I guess you can play too. I haven't really gotten into that aspect of the game itself. I run the register because my employees are slow. I have one for painting, and I have one who does the stocking. Problem is she loves to ignore how I run things. So I have to go through my inventory and just make sure that it's a clear-cut path for my associate, including, you know, reorganizing my shelves so that if I have room for another box of stuff, she'll actually go and get it. But you know, this is my little garbage shelf right now. I had them empty, but because they had things on them before, I don't know how to clear the items from the sign, because if it's empty, then it doesn't let you do anything. So, yeah, this is my shop. Let's start a new day. This is my shop. I call it after my studio and Nightlight Minis. It's a very fitting name, but as a miniature encompass individual, it just works. I like to call this guy John Venus. I know he doesn't look like him, but it's the way he orders things, and it just makes me think of John. And I like to wait for my employees to arrive, because I'm going to pay them for a full day's work no matter what. So I might as well at least wait for them to get to work before we kick that timer off. I don't know if this is the ideal setup for things, but I keep my signs at the window. There's more inside, but you know, I like to keep one of each character. I have one in this window, but it won't let me put anything here until I expand the store more, so gotta wait till level 23. They're both here. This is my stocking staff. This is my painting staff. They have names. Names that will remind me of if I go in here. Pauline and Iris. Iris is my painter. There you go. Level 5. There you go. Then the customer generate 15% more money while painting. And Pauline is my inventory manager. So poor Iris is kind of stuck with just painting. That's rough, buddy. But So she doesn't get a lot of the other skills. She came with that level 1, so I just have her paint. She's my my masterclass painter. And then Pauline spends most of her time stocking because I keep the shelves rolling. But I mean, she's always got a little extra time because I help with the stocking. And she does run the register once or twice a while. You gotta be careful of those X's. There is nothing that keeps them from just firing your associate. There's no, like, are you sure screen. That'd be pretty useful. But, you know, you have your back room for storage. I have Pauline, so I never have storage. She keeps them shelves stacked. She only ever orders exactly what we need. So, not a lot of storage back here. And cleaning supplies. They haven't added the painting stuff yet, but I can't wait to be able to customize the store. And then you get your garbage. And then I have 2 levels of shelves here right now, so this is like the highest level shelf that I can get so far. I don't know if there's another. I haven't really perused future options, and I do have some promos going on because I still make money off of selling them at below market price. Most of these things are pretty on par with GW's pricing, and then I have some empty shelves because either the next level or 2 I'll be unlocking faction specific box sets, and I wanted to have space available for them. So there's 3 factions. We have the names I actually don't really know what to call them. Oh my goodness, I can read the books. Guardians, which are like your human boys. You know, you got your good guys, quote unquote. I can't promise you're good guys. There's no lore behind the armies. And you know, the humans, we call them the humans. And then you have your demons, classic. Everything's got demons. You can work them into any setting. You know, they're demons. They have their little cultists too. And then the last faction is the undead. Good angle here, but yeah, they're gonna be your zombies, your ghouls, your skellies. So, and then you have various like these are your starter boxes. This is what everybody starts with, and then you'll get your faction specific those. And then as you see, some of them are different because their size. You get your rare packs, your large packs. Then you get your special rarities and additions. This would be the collector's packs. There you go. Of like your basic boxes, and then you have the legendary boxes of your basic boxes. I have to get the large legendary and the faction legendary stuff, which is why I have an empty shelf for each faction. You know, I like to keep it organized. Until you get to the dice. My dice aren't selling, so they are on sale. And you get a card game. And then this is a board game. And then you get various books and items. And then you get your tools, modeling kit, game components, paints, brushes, spray paints. And then, you know, as you see, my staff is currently here painting. We have quite the supply of miniatures that need to get painted. You know, and then depending on the parts you get, I don't know if it's just like a shiny plastic or if it's a actual metallic material. But yeah, you're gonna be painting. Which is, I see there go, clicking at the right time in the circles. If there's a way to get a 5-star paint job, I have no idea. I only ever get 4s, even if I go through and like fuck up each one. I'll show you. I don't know if this is a bug that I'm currently experiencing, instant 4-star, so I don't know what's going on there. I've gone through all my settings trying to figure out why I'm stuck at painting 4-star miniatures, but I am. And obviously I have them for sale. The cheaper the Siege Studios, I can tell you that. But they're probably not painted as good. On a scale of 1 to 5, I'd put Siege Studios at a 10. But they're a real world company. This is a video game, so we're the best. I didn't mean to have her both working while I wasn't open. That means they're stuck here longer and they don't get paid extra. My bad, G. Good thing we're not real people. This is it. Usually I help her stock in the morning, but she's already been stocking, so we're going to do a little painting. Try to knock some of these minis out. I did just recently join the Discord for this game, so hopefully I can be a little more interactive. And I would like to say that today's video is indeed sponsored by W. So I haven't really found a great way to announce that my studio, Nightlight Miniatures, which you can find on any platform, that's Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, DeviantArt even. You know, I'm everywhere. The only difference is how much I like the interface and how easy it is for me to share my content as a miniature painter outside of doing these silly videos with my best friend and brother Nathan. I do run a miniature painting studio, and in terms of what brings me money, there goes my job, my studio, and if we ever make any money off of the YouTube channel, then I'll add that to the list. But a lot of it's just for fun. I love painting miniatures. I like painting the miniatures more than I like playing the games. With the exception of War Machine. That's my favorite tabletop miniature game. So I have 2 Khador armies. I have, the Mark III Khador army, and the only thing I'm really missing from that is the Iron Pikemen, Iron Fangs, that's what they're called. I have the Iron Fang caster, but don't have an Iron Fang army. I think there's 2 Iron Fangs total in my army, one being the caster. It's an expansion I would like to get into, but I really need to invest in foam, just so I have something to store the minis in that isn't just a cardboard box. Not great for transportation, if that makes any sense. But then I also have the Mark IV Khador army. It's the only Mark IV army I've invested in. I do have some Gravedigger stuff, but that's because I got the 2-player set for the Khador stuff. And going forward, that's probably the army I'm going to be playing the most. So I get some more games in. Mondays are my best days, but it's just because I can fit it into mine and my wife's schedules between work and stuff like that. So I like to think that I'm pretty on par with GW price wise, but the market that I'm in. And we don't have the threat of 3D printers in this game, so works out for me. Anyway, back to War Machine. I do also have a Mark III Crix army. I know I'm missing some stuff, but not a lot. I have more Crix coverage than I do Khador coverage. I might have more Khador models just because I have more units. But in terms of like caster coverage and choices between like different like units I can bring for the army, Crix is much more fleshed out. I have exactly what I need to run pretty much any way I want to run a Crix army. I think I'm missing a few of the Lich Lords and some of the solos, but I've got their Black Fleet and their Bane sides both covered pretty heavily. So, whereas with Khador, pretty hardcore. But my Winter Cord, Grey Lord covering, and the Iron Fangs, not so much coverage in those. I don't really have many Grey Lords at all. It's not that I don't like them. It's just, you know, I was getting into War Machine when Mark III was really coming to an end. So, I did get a lot of them at a good price. You know, because West Privateer Press was switching over to Mark IV. They were selling a lot of stuff at 50% off. And so I was building my armies quick and cheaper than I could have. But, you know, with Mark IV kicking off, I was grabbing that stuff as it was coming out. And with the Mark IV Khador, I'm very Armored Core centered. I would like to get the old Umbri stuff at some point. I'm not a big Hordes player, so running Anima instead of Focus is a little different for me. I don't have a lot of experience with it, which is why I invested in a Mark III Scorn army. And one day I'll get it built. I was just going through a lot of the stuff. I've been doing huge changes in the studio, from new furniture, new shelves, reorganizing everything, putting the computer down here. And with the new year, I really need to kind of give myself a schedule for how I want to get stuff painted, because as the holidays were rolling in, I started slowing down on a lot of stuff, and my wife would disagree because I've been putting lots of work into just stuff over here instead of spending time with her. I know, but you know, chasing dreams. But it's gonna balance out, and the finances are more sustainable, which probably won't be here in New York. I would like to leave at some point. I can start centralizing everything into one place, and then we don't have to really be apart as much. So Scorn would be my 4th War Machine army. It's pretty chunky. I got everything necessary to run it as needed, but that one I'm missing the most of. I have one of their Colossals, whereas you know, the other armies, I got all the Colossals necessary for me. And then Scorn, I have one, which is a Hydra, because that one's cool. That's my biggest problem when it comes to building armies. I buy the cool stuff, not the meta stuff. Which is why, as I continue to progress with War Machine, you know, playing it more and hanging out with the guys again, I'm going to focus on my Mark IV Khador stuff. I'd like to get the Mark IV Crix. It's so cool. But I think I'm alright. You know, I got what I need. Like, let me get good at playing what I got before I start confusing myself with a new army. I got it, thank you. I'm not saying this is like the ideal way to build the store. It worked for me using the tables as a counter space, even though it's literally just for miniatures. But I don't know, it's like my setup. I'm always thinking, like, how can I rearrange this store to be more effective? You know, like these cardboard cutouts, they do a big bonus for the game for making sales, but just making them fit. Like right now, I got 3 of them back there on the other side of the gaming tables, because I had to put some space between them and the wall. It wouldn't let me put the tables all the way up. And then You just run them in the window. But I wanted that bonus. Like, I don't know if you can see in the top corner here, my sense just rising. And that's just from people playing on the game tables and painting and added revenue. Very useful. I think about like what I'll do as the store owner when I level up enough to hire a third associate. Even stuff on sale, they're just buying the normal price stuff. Like, yeah, $501. I'd be lying if I said I'd never put myself in that same spot. As War Machine is my favorite game, my favorite miniatures are always going to be Games Workshop. But man, they are expensive. I have some white war that, I've been into miniature painting since I was 12. I'm 28 now, so I used to pay $37 a squad. I was a 10-man squad, and it was, whether I was getting the Space Wolves, just regular Space Marines, I was paying $37 for a 10-man squad of Space Marines. Well, my Blood Calls, I can't get through Games Workshop anymore because they have new ones. And my regular Space Marines, just a regular tactical unit, is $60. But I read through my old White Dwarves, and they're like, get a squad of Marines for $24.99. I feel like I missed the golden years of GW. Like, I'm glad they've gotten as big as they are, and they can do all these expansions and new shit. And at the same time, it's just like, I don't know if it was a better game, but it was a more affordable game when it was very niche. Yeah, I'm happy about it though, picking up and getting coverage. And the only thing that really pisses me off is the fact that there are new players who can paint better than me. I'll never say it to them because that's just rude. But I wish I had the same resources they do today to become better painters than I have in my 16 years of painting miniatures. But that's just another one of those, like, yeah, it's a little irritating, but at the same time, it's so cool. Like, being able to see the golden demons of today, and like these new guys coming out of the scene to be like really good painters, and I don't know, it just makes me feel more valid as a person who likes this kind of stuff, to kind of have like these new kids coming up. I personally don't think I'll ever be a golden demon painter, but the game's got coverage. It's gonna outlast me. I don't know. That's just nice to know that this economy, this world that I've enveloped myself in, that I would be fully invested in if I hadn't gotten married. Trust me, I'm happy you're married. It's just nice to see. It's just nice to see. I know, you get on Twitter and it's like this game's not worth it. Any of the tabletop world, because those guys are all assholes. I don't care what side of the fight they're trying to fight on. They're just dickheads to each other, and it just really ruins the scene. Which is why, if I post anything on Twitter, it's literally I dropped a picture, add a little caption, and I'm gone. I don't want to deal with any of that. I literally came here to paint miniatures. Does that make sense? That's what I want to do. Y'all can argue about your politics and what means without me. I'm good. I'm happy here. So, I don't know. I feel like if I get big enough at some point, I'm going to be harassed into being like, what's your opinion on blah, blah, blah. Just like, I really don't have one. I don't want one. I don't want to get involved. depression, antidepressants, therapy, and it's just like, why would I want to bog my life down with even more stress and pain? I don't feel like it's just easier to not talk about it, which I know is the greatest of evil. Not picking a side on this and that, but sometimes I feel like the fights really aren't worth it. I feel like we're fighting for no reason. I can understand a friendly debate, but that's just not how people talk to each other anymore. I'm trying to get this shelf cleaned off because I don't want this stuff over here anymore. Because she's gonna come back and just fill it up. This is my plan the whole time, but I had to keep selling stuff. One more day. Get me where I need to be. So we gotta make a few choices here. And as you may have seen, I accidentally opened the box, but that is an option. That's how you get your parts to build your miniatures. In real life, I would be absolutely terrified of investing in a miniature game like this because you don't get a miniature a box. You get pieces of miniatures in a box. And it's really on chance and luck that you get all the parts necessary after opening a box or two to build a miniature. That's scary. That is a scary way to run. Now I understand it's a video game, so you kind of roll with it that way, but if I was buying a box of miniatures in real life and then I opened it up and I had pieces of miniature but I couldn't actually build one, I'd feel a little ripped off. Yeah, see, like Footman, Putrid, Bloodthirsty, and Footman. So I got 2 parts for one guy, alright? That's a win. I've obviously opened a ton of boxes, so I have a lot of miniatures. Could be assembling these guys, but I find it's easier to actually get my miniatures painted. I have the assembly process and the settings set all the way to 0.1, so and as you see, I have some painted, obviously. I don't actually know how many are painted and how many aren't painted in this, because it says completed 9, but for all I know, 4 of them are painted, 5 of them aren't. I could go to the painting table and differentiate, but it's a lot of numbers to remember. And I got these characters I'm working on. I've actually built an Ilias. He's the only hero that I've managed to build so far. So I'm getting close with some of them. Judge Gedrick here is 1 part missing. And then Ezekiel too. And Hellas. That's pretty cool. And they have little symbols depending on what army they have. You're not limited to running just one faction though. Like if I wanted to, I could take like the priests and this void dude and this bone warden together as an army. Like it's a very loose set of rules. It's fun. I played a game or two, but maybe that's what I'll do when I finally level up enough to hire a 3rd guy. Because I will sit down and start playing the game. Game within a game. So let's see, 23 to expand the shop. I need to be level 30 to hire another. So 30 is your max level currently. There's a new update that they've been talking about. It's going to be in late February, early March. It's going to be adding a bunch of new stuff. new leveling, faster leveling system, new miniatures. They're going to be adding another, I don't know if it's going to be another faction or another game. I'm hoping it's a faction. I like it to stay one game. Damn, 9 more levels before I can hire another guy. And at that point, I will have the biggest store. You know? And then, like, you know, you have your acquisition and spending bonuses here. It's based on your shop score. Everything affects your shop score, from the level of your items and shelves to these displays you put out. Like it says, decoration score plus 20. Your posters, your displays, and your miniatures. It all adds up, and you get a bonus for it. So you want to have a very noisy store, but at the same time, you got to pick and choose your fights here. Like, I could be running a lot more. Honestly, I don't think I get as much from the painting as I do from the game tables. I feel like a lot more people want a game. But with my current setup, I don't have that choice. How many expansions do I have still? So I got 8 more expansions for the store, 12 more for the storage. The only problem I have with the storage system is I can't like pull a shelf off the floor and put it back. I think that would be a excellent resource to have. Like, I think biggest reason they don't do it is like, you know, some of the customers ain't coming in here for stuff, but I think it'd be very useful. Like, if I'm done with a shelf, I have to sell it. So maybe a critique that I would have is, you know, like, these can only hold your products. Maybe create like a new shelf for holding like your display cases and shelves and desks and tables. You have like a shelf just for those, because you can't put them on here. You can only put your products. And then I really want this to come to life. I'd love to be able to paint my store, have like a very custom store. And then you know, if you're not boxing them up, you know, like, let me put them back here. I feel like the box thing would be a better idea, for the same reason of, like, you know, when it comes to your NPC roadmap. Like, you know, they come to this side of the store, they never enter the employee section. And I don't know if like being able to put your shelves back here would affect that. But there's a lot of wasted space. You know what I mean? Like, I used to have shelving. Like, this used to, like, you used to keep it stocked. It was a smaller section back then. But, you know, I keep upgrading it, and I really don't have a use for it back here. You know, like, I just end up with extra boxes sometimes because, you know, Pauline will order too much shit. So, let me like, when I'm not using a shelf or something, bring it back. I don't get shit for money back for things. I'd rather just hold on to it and use it for another project. Because, you know, these medium shelves are still pretty useful. Just, you know, and slowly I will be switching over to this. I'll get some more money in my pocket first. Because it was a very expensive update to get the 15 that I did get. But inevitably, when I make it 23, I'm going to expand the store again. I'm going to change the whole setup. It's a big process for me. You know, after 8 p.m., there's a lot of Andrew reorganizing the store. And another funny thing is, like, there's this City Tavern next door. That's my storage room. That's where my storage room is. My room is so much bigger than this little section here. You know, it's big. It's cutting into the tavern. I took their bathrooms away. This is basically the grind, though. Just me, run the register while Pauline stocks and Irish paints. This is it. Again, I'd like to make an announcement that I, Uncle Andrew, under his guise of Nightlight Miniatures, my miniature painting studio, am sponsored by Dubby, and I have left a link in the description so you can check it out yourself. I have tasted probably 7 other flavors so far. The only one I'm not a fan of is lemon, but that's because I don't like lemon. So I have a whole tub of that. My wife will drink it though, so that works out. At some point, I will be releasing a vlog on my studio channel, kind of going over what's in it. End of the day, not terrible. I used to think taurine was actually pretty bad for you, and I think it's bad for you to a certain point. Like if you down 6 monsters, maybe you're overdosing on some taurine. I haven't gone into the statistics of that because I'm not, you know, like not a big these are chemical stuff and what it does for you. But you know, I have Google. That's basically how I know anything. Because there is taurine in it. There's a lot of taurine in it. It's more than a monster, but less than a rock star. Or is it the other way around? Less than a rock star, more than a monster. And I was like, ooh, that's not good. Taurine bad for you. Like, I don't know though. Reading about it, it doesn't seem that bad. You know? I didn't open this door again. The biggest reason that my brother-in-law needs to not drink energy drinks is because he just got his teeth fixed for the army. Energy drinks aren't really good for you. So, I mean, he looks for every alternative excuse he can find, but relatable because I'm quitting vaping, so it's a struggle bus. A struggle bus I know too well. But yeah, Dubby is not bad. Anything blue raz, I'm gonna fiend over. They do have a blue raz, and it's delicious. And I don't know. I just say check them out. I will say, you know, if you have any form of heart problems, it can affect you. There are some medications actually that I actually made a little warning thing about. I think. Let's see. Because if I'm going to sponsor an item, first I need to know I like it. And I know that's going to make sense to somebody somewhere. Like, why am I going to sponsor something if I myself wouldn't use it? But also, like, I just want to know, like, what it does. Let's see. There we go. So if you are on antidepressants, blood pressure or heart medication, stimulant medication, thyroid medication, anti-anxiety, or sleep meds, I would not recommend you use Dubby. I'm not saying that you personally are going to suffer from any negative consequences, but there is a potential threat that it either negates or causes worse issues if you're using any of those medications. So if you are suffering from anything that those medications are for, be it heart issues or stimulant issues, thyroid problems, anxiety, or depression, Dubby might not be the answer for you. And if you are breastfeeding or pregnant, it says right on the pack, not recommended for those individuals. So with that in mind, I don't want to say take your own risk. You shouldn't risk it. You know, you gotta love yourself and take care of yourself. Personally, I would recommend Dubby. It's not any cheaper than G-Subs or anything, so I'm not gonna say it's financially a better option, but it's good. And I think the biggest win is gonna be depending on the anime that you like. We all know that G-Subs has its own anime sponsored bottles and things that you can get. You can get like anime branded containers for your drink powder mixes. Dubby does the same thing. It's just different animes. So please check them out. If there's something you see, use my code, save 10% off. I think it's worth it. So, thanks for listening. listening. Yeah, see, I call him John Enos. He looks nothing like him. It's just the way he buys things. He's very sporadic. John has a lot of stuff. If you ever watch Ninjon on YouTube, the guy owns every hobby tool he can get a hold of, every pen brand he can get a hold of, and miniatures from all over the world. Actually, it might be more of a Squidmart video, but I'd like to see someone like buy miniatures off of like Temu and AliExpress and like give them a good rating, because I have a hard time trusting it. I know some of the IPs that I'll see on there is like, oh, this is definitely a recast, and I don't know if I want that kind of guy to be like, yeah, support that. But at the same time, if it's a dead game that nobody makes anymore, let's say Mark III War Machine, recast, you're going to be the only way to fill in the gaps. But some of them are like, you know, they're like Kingdom Death, and it's like, well, Kingdom Death is kind of expensive, but maybe you want to support the IP, you know, over, you know, getting the cheaper version just because it's cheaper. So I want someone to really dig into that for me, you know, break down that science. Even Goobs Town Hobbies, he used to be a very big science guy. I haven't watched anything in a while. I don't even know if he makes videos still. I hope so, because, you know, I've enjoyed him as a content creator. I can't say he's a great person, but I think he is. Maybe I'm wrong and stuff, but, you know, he seems like a pretty chill dude for the most part. So, and, you know, I'd like to meet these guys too, and maybe like have a little paint session with each of them, hang out with hobbyists. I love being with my wife. I love her to the end of the earth. I'll never love anything more than her. But sometimes it's just nice to be able to sit down with somebody who also enjoys your hobby. She listens and she supports me, so it's a win. But, you know, sometimes it's just like I like to sit down and just like enjoy the hobby with fellow hobbyists. I'm not going to push her to get into it, you know. If it's something that she wants to get into, then I want it to be something that she wants to get into. You know, because it's not for everybody. But, you know, your choice. I usually paint a lot of big ones myself. As if I'm not just clicking on a circle on a screen. Ooh. It's kind of the dream is be a commission painter. I've already dabbled in it, so I know the pains and stresses of it. And I know it's probably only going to get worse as if I get bigger. But, you know, that's kind of what I want to do over doing YouTube stuff. And like, I don't feel like I'm a video content creator. You know, trying to find the right jokes and zings to hold on to people's attention. And it doesn't really float with me as much as, you know, I think, you know, I'm a visual creator. You know, I'm here to make things that you want to look at, not listen to me. I don't even think I have a good radio voice. Does that make sense? And maybe it's because I use a Yeti. It's a Yeti Blue, I think it's called. I don't know. It's just because of the color it is. It's also blue, but it says blue on it. And I use Audacity for a lot of my audio. But I don't know. Maybe it's because like you never really know how you sound like until you're listening to yourself. But I feel like audio quality wise, I could definitely have a better mic, you know, better equipment. And I know like there's upgrades I gotta do for my computer to, you know, make it run a little better. It can run Silent Hill 2, but just barely. And if you do watch our Silent Hill series, where we do play Silent Hill 2, it started off running great, but it got real choppy, and I've been having an issue with my frame rates lately where it drops to trash. reasons. I do have more stuff for the quarry, but I've been having audio issues, framing issues, and it's all throughout the recording. And you know, getting in there to re-record it with me, and we could be doing something else that does work better. So I do have full plans on getting the quarry completed. Technically, I'm at episode 4. This will be recording 3. I just happened to be lucky enough that Nate had backups of the audio because he records it all too. So I need to get back on that train, get that rolling again, because we beat the game, and I think it's a good game. We're very good with story-based games. Whereas when we're playing things like Helldivers or Deep Rock Galactic or anything where we focus on the game more than our commentary. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. It's not that I don't like playing video games. They put me to sleep. Maybe that's just me getting old. Because I used to be a much bigger gamer, quote unquote. I play exclusively on PlayStation because I like to keep everything in one place. So when it comes to trophies and achievements and this and that, I started on PlayStation. I was just going to keep playing PlayStation. For everything. PS3, PS4, PS5. I have all the PlayStations. I have 1 through 5. I don't have a PSP, so. But it was until Nate gave me this computer that I really started and even then, it took me a hot minute to really get my Steam kicked off. And now I play PC more than anything, but my PC's in the studio, not at home. When I'm at home, it's wife time. And I set it up that way. It didn't have to be that way. She didn't want it that way. You do you, But I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time at home as it is between work and the studio and recording videos. It's I get, according to ChatGPT, crunching the numbers with me, I get about 25 hours of free time, quote, to be with my wife a week. I'm grinding. So, even now, I should be painting, but I just kind of into this game. I don't know which aspect of it's my favorite, other than it's miniature oriented. And I know this is probably pretty boring to watch, which is why I'm trying to keep engaged with the conversation. Guess if anything, I'm good at talking to myself. Because this is it. This is all I do. I just stand at the register. I open the stocking. I resupply my miniature tables with various options for people to purchase. And at some point, Iris will go home and she'll stop earning revenue on those paint tables because apparently she also earns revenue that way. And I'll close the door and just keep cranking away. That's all it is. But maybe it's because it's so simple. It just keeps me happy. There she goes. She's gone. I'll take every cent I can get. I got big dreams and projects for this store. Imagine if I had this kind of money and time to put into a real one. I'd be in heaven. Especially if I got to do it with my wife. That's just so Pauline knows to stock these shelves modeling sets. Go through, do my quotations. I don't know how you guys shop. This is the way I feel, especially because I work for a major retailer. This is called striping in the industry, where you know you keep all your products in a nice neat row. It's supposed to be a visual appeal to help pull in purchases and stuff, because you come through the aisle and you're like, here's this item, so you're not like having it all mixed up or anything. It's neat, it's organized, and it's appealing for the consumer. And so I've been trying to kind of run my store the same way, because I also like the idea of how this is set up. And so I stripe my items, but as a buyer, if I have the option to pull it off of a arm level shelf or bend over to pick something up, I'm going to go for the top item first. Obviously that's how the AI is programmed, but that's how I would shop as a person. I say AI, it's not artificial intelligence. It's just their programming. I don't think they use AI for this game. I hope they don't. So yeah. So like when I'm organizing my shelf, I always try to fill the top first, which I know I'm being a liar right now with these other shelves, but now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm gonna have to go back through and fix them. Because again, like if I'm buying something, I think eye level, arm level kind of reach is better than having to bend over to pick something up. Another rule that we follow at said major retailer is always go from the left over. So on promo, I just didn't find much of any of them. Trying to get them pushed out. Like they don't really sell like they used to, because I got all this cooler shit that's army specific. That seems to be what the people are looking for, which relatable. That's how I want it to. On accident. This is called my aftercare period, where I just I go through all my inventory. I don't order a thing. I put money aside. I have Pauline do it all. I don't know if that's the best way to operate, but you know, it's called delegation. It's important. You can't handle everything yourself, no matter how good you think you are. It's not a bad thing to need help. So I let Pauline do all the ordering, you know, and her UI is programmed perfectly to handle that situation. Oh shit. It's a problem. I do it all the time. You like, see how shiny he is? just don't know if he's like just a shiny plastic or he's like a metal. But obviously he's like a higher rarity, or like the parts were a higher rarity. Oh shit, building another character. So he's gonna be all gold. Herald of Hunger. That's pretty cool. Okay. And then I need 3 from the shelf. All my dice are on sale because they just don't sell. I actually don't know. So yeah, the market price is 17. I got them at 15, so it's not a big gap, but that little price margin there is what I get. So I want to go 2 grade today. Yeah, see, I'm paying $11.37 for a pack. Selling for 15. Not a big gap. Sometimes you gotta do it that way. It's called metrics. The Arc Lord Fall isn't really doing great. I know the shelves all organized. Check tables. I make sure they're fully stocked. I've got tons of miniatures. Hey, you don't have a price. For miniatures, I go market, up, round. Simple as that. That's what I sell it for. I don't know what I can sell these at max for. Let's go with my expensive though. I don't know if it's a max. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Hey, if she sells for that price, I'll let you know. I only have 1, so it only affected her. That's not a bad day. You know, if I'm making $9,267, that's a good fucking day. That's a good fucking day. I know that's not realistic, but damn, G. I don't know if it's my associates get you though. But hey, that's an hour of listening to me, so probably gonna hop off. You know, anyone watches this is much appreciated. Again, check out my sponsor, Dubby. Link is in the description. You know, you can save 10% off using my code Nightlight Mini. It's good stuff. Again, I've only tried 7-ish of the flavors, and you know, I've had from their basic, you know, powder to their hydros, and a lot of them I think say like jitterlish energy, and I gotta say that's true for me. You know, I've drinking plenty of energy drinks just like everybody else. You know, Rock Stars and Red Bulls and Monsters and Full Throttles, and you know, I've even had the what do you call them, the Toxic Sludge. I don't know what that brand's called, and the Celsius. You know, but you always kind of get that crash. Whereas with Dubby, I'm not feeling it that way. And I'm not just saying that because they're my sponsor. I mean it. I don't crash when I drink Dubby. Like, it's a clean energy for me to consume. I can't say the chemicals ain't gonna come out 10 years from now being a problematic item. You know, again, like, it's still got taurine in it. It still does have caffeine. But from what I've read on Google so far, you know, about the chemicals and ingredients of the drink mix, it's good. It's good, you know. I'm not seeing anything that's like, oh, you know, it's gonna fuck up your thyroid or fuck up your what do you call it, kidneys. Like, it's aight, and it tastes good. So I really do. I really suggest, you know, if you have the opportunity, check out Dubby. And again, if you're breastfeeding, pregnant, you're on antidepressants, any form of blood medication or blood pressure or heart medication, stimulants or thyroid medication, or any form of anti-anxiety or sleep meds, maybe talk to your doctor first. You know what you're getting into. If it's going to be a risk, you don't need to do it. It's not going to ruin my day. You know, it was an opportunity and I jumped at it. If I never make $1 off of it, oh well. You know, I got some free stuff, so it's cool. You know? And if you do have the opportunity, like I said, I get a little kickback on every time you make an order, so. And I'm pretty sure you can use my code over and over again. So if you order something, you pop in my code, and it works out great for you, use it again. Until they boot me from the program for whatever reason, use Nightlight Minis at checkout. Save yourself 10% off Mortar W. And have a good day. You know, get that jitterless crash, jitterless energy without the crash. It's worth it. I promise. So, till next time.